Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Laughing Place Walk and Talk live from the LP headquarters. I'm Luke, and in the field today at Disney's Animal Kingdom, we have the guy that you'll usually hear running these things, Tony Betty.
It's true. Hello, everybody. We're here in a Swahili and English-speaking zone at Disney's Animal Kingdom, checking stuff out today.
How much Swahili do you know?
Jumbo, Swahili, Rafiki, Pumbaa, Simba. That's probably it.
Yeah, that's about it. I think that's about all we all know. But yeah, we are at
Hakuna Matata, technically. I guess.
Exactly. It means no worries.
Right,
so today we are at Disney's Animal Kingdom, part of DinoLand USA. Chester and Hester's Dinorama closed forever overnight. And so we are on our way to check that out, as well as what else is going on in Animal Kingdom. How's your day been so far, Tony?
So far, it's good. It's actually overcast and nice. I enjoy it. It's a little chilly. But nothing too awful. It's been a nice day. The crowds are thin. Most everything, I think. Now, granted, I have not been in Pandora, the world of Avatar, but everything has been roughly around 10 to 15-minute waits, as far as I can tell all day. So yeah.
I mean, I see people in shorts and some people in t-shirts, so it can't be that cold. Well, yeah.
it's Florida cold. It's Florida chilly.
Yeah.
So if your blood is thin, it's a little cool.
If you're joining us, folks, feel free to leave any comments, questions, comments for anything going on in Animal Kingdom, anything you might have, even if it's not Animal Kingdom related. We'll be happy to answer it. Maybe take a look and see what's going on. So please feel free to leave a comment.
So I'm also curious.
Make our way.
I've noticed in the past there have been Chester and Hester's Dinorama signs, and I have not seen any of those running around. They're closer to DinoLand, to be fair, but I have not seen them, so those are gone too.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, that's one of those things that, like, I don't really look at the directional signage, so it's not really something I notice, but now that you mention it, I'm pretty sure I have seen signs that say specifically Chester and Hester.
That's interesting. I've not seen that before. Can you see that?
Are we talking about the? No,
there's like a puff of smoke here going on.
Oh, interesting.
At least I hope that's nothing.
Interesting.
I've been watching Southern California news lately, so I'm a little on edge.
Well, you did go into Tough to Be a Bug earlier and said that some of the effects,
the fog effects were working well, so that could be.
So yeah, venting, maybe it's either venting or this is just an effect that it's always had that they fixed. We'll look on the positive side here.
Yes, for sure. I just looked over the river and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of the little food locations like this too aren't open that I've noticed either. As I say, here is one that is.
They always seem to have interesting hours from what I've noticed. You know, like they'll be open from like 11 to 3 or 12 to 4, and, which it always happens to be when I'm not there. Having a little bit of a bottleneck here as we're coming up on.
Yeah, I spoke about the crowds being thin. I have not encountered traffic like this. Even earlier, I walked past Everest, and it was not the jam that it normally is over there.
Remind me what this show is called now. Is it Feathered Friends in Flight?
Feathered Friends in Flight, yeah. Also,
try to say that 10 times quick.
I still call it Flights of Wonder. Call me old school.
Yes. I still call it Up a Great Bird Adventure.
Yeah. That middle ground show.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I think I passed them. The little Doug and Russell statues.
not one of my ideal shows because I'm not a big birds are cool, but I'm not really a big fan of them flying around.
Most of the people who accompany me to the parks are actually terrified of birds. So
Yeah,
in theory, I'll never really go there. I think I've only seen it 3 times in the almost 20 years I've lived here. So
yeah, I think I've seen it once, and I don't recall what iteration of the show that was, but
so question, fork in the road. Do we want to go this way towards DinoLand or this way towards DinoLand?
why don't we approach it, whatever that is,
Approach it.
approach it from the main entrance, so we can see how.
So you
I
can
guess
see
that's
how
most
intact
people.
that land is. Because most of it, everybody keeps saying DinoLand's closed. DinoLand's closed. I'm like, no, Dinorama is closed.
No, there was a lot of that yesterday. That people were there for the final day of DinoLand, or at least
Did you
that's
see
what they
those
were saying. They
Triceratops
were there for.
spins wait times?
I didn't actually.
The line was like going down and around for Triceratops spin, which for those who aren't quite in the know is a Dumbo style spinning attraction. And people
Was
were
a
waiting.
Dumbo style spinning attraction.
Was numerous hours apparently to be among the last to ride it.
Amy says, "Happy Monday! Happy Monday to you, Amy." One thing that I've seen.
Does Amy
an
have a
idea
real case of the Mondays?
Who doesn't? One idea I saw floating around on the Twitter sphere was of retheming Triceratops spin to Trixie from Toy Story and moving it over to Toy Story Land, which
that could be fun.
Is a great idea, right?
Yep.
I think that would be a fun idea.
I'm a fan of more flat rides anyway. That's one,
especially at Hollywood Studios.
Disneyland. Yeah, not everything has to be an e-ticket.
And it's just something to occupy people as they walk by.
Yeah, and the non-e-tickets, hot take, don't need to have lightning lanes. So if it's a C ticket, just wait in line for it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's some animals here. Animal Kingdom.
Ah, yes, lots of birds. Now, do you know the name of the band that we're passing by? Because I can never remember their name. They tend to perform over here on the way into DinoLand, across from Flame Tree Barbecue, which is one of my favorite restaurants.
Yes. Had a mobile order been available when I was ready to eat, I would have picked that. But the next window was like 30 minutes away. So I said, nah, I'm hungry.
Yeah. And who needs to wait in an actual line?
That's true. I always forget that that's offered sometimes because for a while there, a lot of food locations didn't have an actual line if they had mobile order.
Very true. Yeah. No, that was something that stuck around for quite some time.
Yeah.
So if you're just joining us, we're heading into the sort of closed DinoLand, but not really. I'd like to say that it's really just the parts of DinoLand that nobody liked anyway closing.
Well, and also let's remind everybody that most of it was already closed because Primeval World was long gone.
Yeah, Primeval World, that's been closed since what, 2019?
Yeah, because I think that was one of the ones they were like after pandemic. No, we're never opening that again.
Yeah. So it closed on March 13th, 2020.
I think it was Primeval World, Rivers of Light, rest in peace, and Stitch's Great Escape. They basically said we're not opening these up again.
Yeah. So farewell to that. But
DinoLand USA, the sign's still over here. And then, but it has been Donald's Dino Bash since what, 2016, maybe earlier.
Yeah, that's been going on for a long time, and it does bring a nice a nice life to the area. I do enjoy the Dino Bash.
I always felt it gave it a we're trying to be Toontown to Animal Kingdom feel.
Yeah, I can see that. So we have a, and I feel like this might be something that you'll be able to have a good opinion on. Ronan says that Zootopia replacing Tough to Be a Bug makes no sense. And they love Zootopia. As a matter of fact, it's my second favorite Disney movie. What do you think on that?
I kind of agree with that. It doesn't agree, or I don't think it fits where it is going. I think Zootopia is a great fit for Animal Kingdom, but for it to take place inside a tree, because I don't think they're going to get rid of the park icon at this point.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll change much of the theming of the theater or anything like that, at least according to the concept art.
So, and in the art, it's got Clawhauser where Hopper is. So I don't know how you're going to pull off, hey, a zoo city worth of animals is going to be inside this tree. So.
Yeah. Very interesting.
So earlier, this area was full of character meet and greets going all around. But now there's not a lot of people here. So let's take a look. You could already see people working back here. I'm not going to raise the camera over. Actually, I'll do that. That way you can see that this area, Chester and Hester's, is completely closed. I honestly didn't think the shops were going to be gone just yet. Or those bathrooms back there. I thought this would extend just down straight towards the billboards for Dix County. But no, it cuts off here.
Very surprised that it's just roll out planters instead of actual construction walls at that spot.
I think that's for now.
Yeah.
I would bet probably by weekend this will be walls.
Yeah.
There might also be, because if you I'll walk down this way. And we have a walkthrough video posted. I think it's up now.
It
on
is,
YouTube.
yeah.
Okay. And it's basically the same shot you're getting now, but backwards. A lot of it's planters that are roll away, but some of it is also actual wall. So I think it's interesting because I think they started and then maybe just stopped.
They're like, we can't do this all in one night.
Because yeah, if you see here. But then they have Animal Kingdom themed signs. But one of them that I thought was funny, because it was the first one I saw also. Squirrel. But the first one I saw is actually, you see the same one if you come out of Dinosaur. We can go back there and look if you want. And go towards Chester and Hester's. You're met with this sign. And it's like subjective.
You know, hopefully in this particular instance, I think at least everything that's leaving right now will probably be replaced with something better. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll bite the bullet and not do it well.
And
so
then,
yes, the
Cementosaurus.
Yes, Cementosaurus.
In my wildest
I do like
fantasies,
the Cementosaurus.
I would have rounded the corner today and this would have been gone, but alas, it is still there.
Yes.
Let me back up here.
Perhaps might be the thing I'll miss the most from that area is the Cementosaurus.
Did you prefer it orange or do you prefer it green?
I honestly don't even remember it orange. Like, I've seen photos of it, but I don't remember it being that color.
I think that was part of the tackiness that a lot of people hated about the area, because it kind of got mum after they painted him green or her. And that was for Rivers of Light. A lot of people forget that was why this was
really?
painted. Yep.
I didn't even know it was that recently.
Yeah. It was that way you didn't have the big orange thing popping up behind the water show. It was meant to blend in more.
That makes total sense. So yeah, as we go through DinoLand, basically everything off to the side, the way that the area is set up makes it pretty easy for everything else to stay open. Just because the way the walkways are set up, you can really easily just kind of section off Dinorama and keep everything else running. But
Well, and that
these
also dates back
construction,
to when the park opened, because that was always meant to be other stuff before it became Dinorama.
yeah,
And it
it
was
was
the
like a
temporary dino fossil prep lab at one point.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if I ever went in there. I'm guessing I must have at some point, but I do not remember it at all.
But yeah, so that part was always kind of an add-on that became easy to close later. Yesterday.
And for those of you unaware, it looks like we'll be keeping at least Dinosaur, and maybe some of the other elements of DinoLand around for the rest of 2025. That's what
Yeah.
Disney has said.
Yeah, at least regarding Dinosaur for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the other stuff kind of phase close. Like if the Boneyard just quietly like closed one day, I would almost expect that, to be honest. But
yeah, that one will be a little harder because you'd probably have to close off that entrance into DinoLand if you were closing the Boneyard.
Yeah. Or what you'll probably
So
see happen, and this happened, I think, with COVID too. You'll see the other side where the sand pit is, and you dig up the dinosaurs. That'll probably close first, and then segue over to the bulk.
Yep.
And then whenever they're ready to close another food location, I think that's when Restaurantosaurus will go.
Yeah. But fans of Dinosaur, which is one of my favorite attractions, you still have about a year left to experience it. So this closure, quote unquote closure of DinoLand, does not currently extend to Dinosaur.
Mm-mm. Although park nerds and aficionados will notice a lot of the bushes around the area are gone.
Oh, okay.
Because if you look close here, give me my finger. You can start seeing some of the show building that you normally couldn't see before.
Okay.
That could also be seasonal. As in because everything's not quite lush in January, but
yeah, maybe that'll be a thing
than normal.
Maybe that'll be a thing. Slowly, we start to see things removed from around the area. Now, the Cretaceous Trail, is that still accessible at the moment?
Yeah, actually, I was just going to point that out, but I didn't know what was going on back there because it looked like there's some kind of characters going on. But let me, we'll walk back there. Dinosaur,
Yeah,
which was part of the fossil prep lab back in the day. I'm also, while we're back here, because I'm not going to come back here again. Going to what you said about the extended queue and how we were talking about phased closures. I wouldn't be surprised if you see all of this back here, which is Dinosaur's queue, extended queue, I should say.
Yeah.
If all of that starts kind of getting put behind walls sooner than later also.
So you mentioned that the Dinosaur was that in the fossil lab area, but
that was
there
back in the day. That was what they were prepping, was those fossils, quote unquote.
Gotcha.
In partnership with the Chicago Institute. Don't let me. I might be wrong about that. Let's read the plaque. But they were organized there, and then this is obviously not the actual. It's a cast, but
yeah.
Field Museum of Chicago. That's right.
Okay, you got the city right.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they were for that replica. They were prepping those fossils, and it was obviously kind of a showpiece as well. But had more back here in the corner when the park opened, and was smaller than it even is now. Yes, Animal Kingdom is the biggest park, but in terms of attraction counts and everything, it's not a ton. So this area used to be the smoking area.
Okay.
Those no longer exist within Disney parks, but it's still more of the extended queue. I'm not going to go and undo ropes or anything, but there's a statue of a velociraptor back here, like that's attacking, and it's one of my favorites. And when they inevitably do close it, I hope it ends up in cast connection and property control, where the Disney cast members can buy all the old remnants, because I have friends that are on the lookout for it.
I knew that the queue went back that far, but I also didn't. I don't think I've ever seen the line for Dinosaur get anywhere near that long.
And if you've waited
anywhere
in it,
near
it's
that
awful.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it got anywhere near that length, I don't think I'd be waiting in it.
Yeah, it's one of those spoiled logo things where it's more than 30, if even that high.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out. Like earlier, when I saw that Chester and Hester's was closed, I knew that obviously they had to cordon off the exit in some way. And sure enough, they did. But I was like, I wanted full experience of how this happens, and the ride was only a walk on at the time, so I just jumped on the ride.
Yeah.
And everything was working, and it was great.
Love to see it. It looks like we still have the Restaurantosaurus Lounge available.
Yes, the highly touted lounge, and I say that sarcastically because it's literally just an A-frame. The Restaurantosaurus Lounge is open. Yeah.
Good drinks, though, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
Or at least the whatever one I tried. I know I had one.
And the couple of times I've been in there, it's the same bartender, so he gets to kind of know you. So it's nice.
Wonderful. We've
Over
said
here
goodbye
is where the
to
American crocodile was.
Yes.
And it's all empty now. I know before even the water was still there, but not so much anymore.
Yeah, and I know on the other side there was a tortoise of some sort and a bird species that I cannot think of off the top of my head.
I wonder if, because I know there's tortoises over by the Tree of Life, but those are Galapagos, so I don't know if they're the exact same.
Yeah, no, I have a pet turtle of my own. So my family and I have become very, every time we've gone to Animal Kingdom recently, we've been on the hunt for tortoises, and there are a surprisingly large amount of different types of tortoises all around the park. And some that are in spots that you wouldn't expect, like right by the exit of, or right by the entrance of Tough to Be a Bug. There, you can find some tortoises there that are not the Galapagos. No, the Galapagos ones are at the back of Tough to Be a Bug. Then there's smaller ones that you can find right by the entrance.
Oh, you know what? I know what you're talking about now. Yes.
Yeah. So very interesting. Lots of animals everywhere you look at Animal Kingdom, which is how it should be.
Agreed.
And folks, if you're just joining us, we are live from Disney's Animal Kingdom. We're taking a walk through DinoLand USA, of which some of it is now closed forever as of today. If you have any questions anywhere you'd like us to check out in the park, feel free to let us know. We'll be happy to do it for you.
One thing I'm noticing, and you can kind of see it here too, is there are a ton of cast members with pin boards out today.
Oh, nice.
Every cart, like this little spot, like there's a pin board out or a cast member with a pin board. And we'll walk this way and take you into Asia here, where Kali River Rapids is currently under refurbishment, and there's pin boards there. There's all kinds of games in the street.
I mean, you know, for a park that doesn't have a lot of attractions, you technically have lost, at least through March, have lost 2 attractions.
Yeah.
Granted, they're probably not, you know, Triceratops Spin is not one that a lot of people go on, and at this time of the year, Kali River Rapids doesn't see much love, but
the option's there.
Yes. Now, I don't know if you saw this today, but Universal tweeted out in their usual kind of sarcastic Universal social media style, tweeted out, if only there was a theme park with a dinosaur-themed area, rides, and dinos that you can meet. Oh, wait.
I did see that. I saw they did one on Instagram or Facebook also that had like lots of pictures with it. But that kind of goes back to that whole I'm not going to say misreporting, but the idea that all of DinoLand's closed, but it's not.
Yeah.
That said, I feel like that sign right there, the empty one, was a Chester and Hester Dinorama one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost positive of that.
Yeah, no, I saw their social game is good. I like Universal's quips. But that one I just go back to, well, it's not closed. It's still there.
Yeah.
I'll defend that. Now, if I
What's
came around
your
that
opinion?
bridge and there was a big green wall by Flame Tree, then we'll talk.
So, what's your thoughts on? I know it's not Finding Nemo the musical anymore, but it's essentially Finding Nemo the musical. Is that a show you enjoy?
I did when it first came out. Over time, and that was back in 2007.
Yeah, it's been a
2006,
while.
2007. Over time, I just kind of I would still prioritize Festival of the Lion King over
Much
any other
agreed.
show here. So
I think it's time for something different there.
after when they came back and it was the Big Blue and Beyond, I just said, why don't just you guys do something new? It goes back. Jungle Book had a year, maybe. Tarzan Rocks had a number of years, let's say 6 or 7, and then we're pushing 2 decades now with Finding Nemo the musical. Now, to be fair, Festival of Lion King has also been there since opening day, just in different locations. But that's more of a surf show. It's not really a narrative.
I think some shows pass the stand the test of time.
Yeah,
and I think Festival of the Lion King is one of those. But I don't know if Finding Nemo the musical is.
I don't think so. Sorry to the Frozen writers, the lo-fi, but nah, we're good. Thanks.
All right, we're here in Asia, outside of Expedition Everest. Again, that's the thing about Animal Kingdom. They don't have a lot of attractions, but all the ones they do have are among my favorites. So yeah. it's always a good time in Animal Kingdom.
I love this is one of my favorite details, and they have since cleaned it up recently. Is that it's not just an aesthetic banner saying the title; it's covering up the sign that actually emphasizes the subtitle that everybody overlooks.
Yes.
So it's Expedition Everest: Legend of the Forbidden Mountain. That's the full name of the attraction. But
yeah, no, that's clever. I always appreciate signs that are, maybe not quite as obviously an attraction sign, but maybe something a bit more themed into the storytelling.
Yeah. Now you're hip to the parks blog. You're on it every day. What's going on?
Yeah.
Here? I see this big theater, and I'm like, there should be something going on here. What's going on here?
Now, I don't know if the parks blog will tell me that, but yeah, no, seems to have been nothing much since the balloons.
Since Kite Tails, which I'm in the landing zone for, if you recall.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever. I don't know if I sat and watched the show. I might have seen it in passing, but yeah, that was something.
I enjoyed it the same way that I like to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloons burst, and light poles and everything. So
yeah, and that happened.
I don't know.
That sure happened
for Kite Tails or for Kite Tails.
Yeah,
but I liked it. It was something in that space. So
I do miss Rivers of Light. I feel like something, maybe not quite as in depth as the Rivers of Light, but something there, like a fountain show or something to let guests have some fun.
Well, as a diehard for World of Color, I've always said this is pretty much a prime location for an animal version of World of Color. And Rivers of Light kind of scratched that itch, but not to the same expanse in terms of infrastructure. But
yeah. I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that it is an animal park. So there's, they can't quite go as extravagant with those sort of shows as they could.
The thing, I keep hearing mixed things, that this is a man-made or this is a modified natural body. Either way, I know there's animals in it. If you ever eat at Flame Tree down by the water, you can definitely see the animals in this water. And that's kind of what the problem was with Rivers of Light.
Yeah.
Because the floating barges had propellers on them, and they could only go so deep with them, and et cetera, et cetera. There was a lot of limitations there. So it makes me wonder if they can't do the scissor lifts that are in Paradise Bay at California Adventure.
Yeah,
That lift up that
interesting.
whole table.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would be able to do that there. Who knows? But it seems like that would be a little bit more difficult to achieve. Oh, and it looks like we lost Tony here for a second. Let me try and get him back.
I'm still
Hello.
here. I'm still here. Yeah, sorry. It just like for a split second, it just was enough to get that window to go away. That was weird.
It got silent, and I was very confused.
Knowing how the scissor lifts work for the World of Color table, I could see that being an issue if there's actual live creatures in the water. Something that is not in Paradise Bay, California Adventure, but either way. I mean, we can see some animal activity here on our right.
Can you hear it? That's the question.
Not this time. Normally they're pretty loud.
Yeah, they can be. They can be loud.
Calm day here.
I
think my video is a little pixelated. Hopefully it'll clear up here in a second. But you can see right there.
Oh, yes. There they are. Just hanging around. Literally, quite literally, just hanging around.
Yes. We'll press on. Head towards Cali. I did my every visit check at Animal Kingdom for Baby Back, so did not see him. He's not out yet.
For what? I'm sorry?
Baby Baxo, the tiger.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I made the mistake of thinking it was Basco.
Okay.
For so long, and I kept spelling it Basco too in the posts until I finally realized no, it's Baxo.
It was you. Sorry, I told Kyle. I'm like, it's Baxo. Here's proof. I don't know who's doing it.
Yes, it was, and they've all been fixed since. But
cool.
and as Kyle so wonderfully adds, I want baby back, baby back, baby back,
baby back. So, the other thing too is when I told him about the Basco or Bosco, however you want to say it, that debate, we made some Seinfeld references to George's secret bank code, which was Bosco.
Okay.
Yeah, Cali River Rapids closed for refurbishment. If you go down that way, you're met with a wall.
Oh, is that the way that usually lets you go towards kind of like the shortcut towards Everest?
That pathway next to it is still open. Yeah.
Okay.
But the halfway down it there is a wall.
Gotcha.
But you could still get to Everest that way.
And,
I'm not going to go in the Jungle Trek because every time we send someone in there, they lose signal. So.
And Kali River Rapids is going to be closed through March. There's no specific date yet on when it's going to reopen, but March is the target.
In terms of this pathway, the exit for Maharaja Jungle Trek, it's right there. And then the wall that leads to Cali and the exit and the place where you can shoot the rafts as they go by, also walled off.
Makes a whole lot of sense.
I don't know if you could see it, but there's a lot of orange fences up under the rock work as part of the track and scaffolding back there.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. You know, water rides are notoriously some of the hardest to maintain. So they really do need this yearly kind of maintenance to keep it running smoothly.
As a friend of mine so eloquently put once, and it's 100% true, water is one of the most corrosive substances on the planet. So to have it constantly running through a controlled environment, eventually that controlled environment will give way to the natural tendency of water.
Yep. I know that they've been there for a number of years now, but I very much appreciate them having storage lockers for free
Yes.
outside the ride, because they had them at Grizzly River Run for the longest time at California Adventure. But I remember them not having them there when I was younger, and that was disappointing.
So I'll ask you this question, Luke. Do you like Grizzly better or Cali better?
Grizzly.
Okay, me too. I agree.
I
I'm not a big
it's-
fan of these raft rides, overall, but Grizzly I love that one.
Grizzly, you get great views. It's a lot longer of a ride. There's more to it, I think.
Yes, I agree.
I haven't been on Roaring Rapids in Shanghai Disneyland, but I imagine that's probably the best of the three.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it has the layout of Grizzly River Run, but
It's very
an animatronic
similar,
added.
But yes.
Yeah.
I've not been on it, but I have watched numerous videos. I've thoroughly documented it because I love the structure of it. I love the way it looks, and it's got that Yeti-sized animatronic that functions. So
yeah, in the Orlando area, I would probably say I like Infinity Falls more.
I still have never done Infinity Falls. It's very fun. 2 or 3 times a month. Never got on it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like Popeye and Bluto's over at Universal Islands of Adventure, where you are pretty guaranteed to get quite soaked if you ride it. But it has a huge drop and a elevator lift that takes you up to the drop. So it's really cool. It's a fun ride, but definitely something you would want to do on a hotter day, or make it the last thing you do, or bring a change of clothes.
I just love all the boat names on Infinity Falls, most of which were voted on by pass holders and park goers.
And I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Bodie McBoatface is one of them.
That's right, Bodie McBoatface. That's McBoatface.
Wonderful. My favorite's a little naughty, Nauti. Okay. So that one I like a lot.
That's clever.
We are going to come back this way and hopefully beat the next show out because I like this path.
I enjoy this path too, and I also enjoy how there's so many different ways that you can get around Animal Kingdom, and a lot of them are a little bit more hidden than others.
Yeah,
it's definitely a very good exploratory park.
Which was the intent. It's one of those ones that I always laugh at because Joe Rohde famously did not want any maps or signs when the park first opened.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very short-lived, but for a brief moment, they didn't have any.
His wish did come true there for a moment.
Yeah, and Pandora, the same byline. But I remember as soon as he left town to go to Guardians opening in California Adventure, they rolled out little rolling directional signs and A-frames.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's kind of a necessity, unfortunately. But
I've walked past this way a few times now, and this has become like the Instagram hotspot. Like we're gonna get the long shots with the pathway here.
Oh yeah,
I mean it makes sense.
It's a beautiful spot.
It's a great view.
Are the tortoises out?
That's what I was looking at. Yep. Oh, okay. They're on the move too.
Oh, excellent. Wonderful. Always fun to watch them so slowly move.
Oh, there's one chilling back there too.
Yeah, I think there's 4 of them total.
For those familiar, and I know you are, Luke, on the other side there's the Tree of Life Garden Trail, which is a great hidden gem. And I was walking by, and I was by myself, and I kept feeling like I was being watched. And then I look over, and there's 4 kangaroos just kind of staring at me. Like, okay, what's up?
Hey, kangaroos, how are you? Yep. Say hi to your mother for me. Thank you for getting the reference.
Yes, of course. Oh, I just realized, I didn't realize somebody was here, but there's Pocahontas right there.
Oh, hey.
I'll
Hi,
let her do
Pocahontas.
her meet and greets, and I'll walk around this way.
Don't know if I've ever seen character meet and greets back there.
I bumped into Pocahontas back here because my wife loves the tortoises, so we'll come back and check them out. But I've
Yeah.
bumped into Pocahontas back here. I've run into Tarzan back here, which was weird because he's usually ahead of his attendant. So a half-naked man came running at me. And, oh, it's Tarzan. What's up, Tarzan?
Be very concerning if it wasn't.
I feel like I've also Miko was there at one point back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they never brought out the Chester and Hester dinosaur meet and greet costumes again for the closure.
You know what? I was thinking that earlier, and how cool that would have been, and everybody would have went nuts, but they didn't do it.
Yeah. So this area over here with, I believe there's like lemurs or some sort of small monkeys. I know they also have some tortoises in here.
Okay, nice. Is it a
become
cotton top tamarin? Let me check.
Yes.
Oh, there's somebody here.
I see the tamarind.
Yeah. I don't see any tortoises on the ground. That's not to say they're not there, but I don't see them
those little huts are usually where they'll hide.
All the tamarins are climbing around and jumping around, quite active. So I imagine the tortoises are probably hiding. I would.
I think I would too.
Want some Starbucks?
I would actually.
Me too. This might be my next stop.
And it's still Christmas too.
Yeah, a lot of the park is still decked out. I tweeted earlier, or X'd, whatever you want to say, and
tweeted
the Christmas tree and the area loop at the entrance are all still holidays.
Interesting. Wow.
And then there's
That's a
another
little
pin board,
surprising.
like I was saying. It's random.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of cast members, with lanyards out and about before, but not as many just holding pin boards like.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Everybody come trade your pins, and if you find the Wally cast member set, let me know. Because when they first announced them, when they announced the return of pin trading, they showed off the 4 of them, and I was like, "Oh, I have to find those." And every time I go to a cast member, those aren't coming out for like months. We had a few samples, but those always get taken. Oh, okay, thanks.
I used to be very into pin trading. In the last few years, I've kind of avoided it. not because I don't like it, but just because I don't know. I just have so many.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's also a hobby that gets expensive over time.
Oh, it does. Oh,
No.
that is an absolute fact. It gets very expensive. So we are now heading, as I'm sure Tony was about to say, we're heading towards Pandora, the world of Avatar.
Correct. I was going to say we're doing something that I normally don't do, but for our viewers, I will. We'll go into Pandora.
I like Pandora. I would like Pandora a lot more if I could get on the rides easier. But
an abandoned pinboard. Granted, it's probably for the host stand, but.
And folks, we are still live. We're still here. So if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, let us know, and we'll be happy to answer them for you.
What's the light years? 4.2, something like that. Across
like how many?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure.
My former employer was involved with the opening of Pandora, so I had to take that Passage to Pandora class that customers that worked here had to do.
Interesting.
Never had to use the knowledge, but all that kind of backstory information. You could really tell this was the practice for Star Wars when that eventually opened. But yeah, that and apparently they don't have to take it anymore, from what I've heard. But
That does not surprise me one bit.
yeah, Asian, that has gone completely out of my head now. Yes, but yeah, it's when you cross that bridge, it's like 4.2 light years or something away to
Okay.
Pandora.
That makes sense. I'm sure everyone's thinking of that.
Yeah, and then
as they
I
cross
asked
the
what about
bridge.
the other pathway. I call it the Beast of Kingdom pathway because you go over the little dragon thing.
Mhm.
But, and they said it's the same. Okay, great, thanks. They made such a
It's
big
the
deal about
same.
the bridge. It's the bridge is what's make the jump. Okay, what about that pathway? It's the same.
It's the same. But we didn't think about it, so don't worry about it.
This is one of my favorite things that they kept, though. I don't know if you knew this. You probably did. This is the same creek from Camp Mini Mickey that Donald and the nephews would hike along.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I've ever put two and two together, but looking at it, that makes sense.
Yep.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right? I always think of the Imagineering story when they talk about California Adventure versus Tokyo Disney Sea and no budget, up versus no budget. How it means it's two different meanings, but the same term.
Mhm.
And one thing they always would say was no water features, at least in terms of California Adventure or Disney Studios Paris, because water features don't add revenue, they cost revenue. So
Yeah,
to your
that
point,
was
if it's already there, just leave it be.
Yeah. And that was an unfortunate way of thinking that Disney had there for a little while, but seems to be
still
behind
kinda
us.
there if we're gonna fill in that river, but prove me
Yeah.
wrong, Disney. Prove me wrong.
We're going to fill in the river, but I really hope that we at least have some degree of water feature still around.
I agree. Like if you go to California Adventure, and you walk in and go past Buena Vista Street and on the, if it's still called the Performance Corridor towards the winery, and you have all the rock work for the backside of Grizzly Peak, just do that.
Yes.
Like that's fine.
Yeah. Something like that. It's nice to keep around.
And then I haven't checked myself. Maybe I'll do that later. We'll see. But I've heard tell that the Frontierland signs are gone. So
yeah,
are they gone for refurb, or are they gone for another reason? We'll never know.
Very good question. I think one of them has been gone for a while the other one on the Adventureland side just got removed over the last week.
Okay.
So there's no specific reason for it, but it certainly is interesting. Although they have said that it would still be like, the new cars area would be a new frontier in Frontierland. So we'll see how they end up dealing with that.
I think they're going to play more into frontier aspect of it in different wild areas. So
yeah.
We'll see. Where are we at here? 45 minutes for Flight of Passage.
That is not bad at all.
No.
For Flight of Passage, that's actually pretty great.
And it's Flight of Passage because of this big, quote-unquote, marquee. The Wicker Fancy.
Now, somehow...
there's no signage.
Somehow, I think that Navi River journey is going to have a longer wait than 45.
Oh, somehow I bet you're right.
Which is a real shame, because that should be a ride. That should be a ride that you can just waltz right on.
I don't think I've ever, I've had very few chances to sit and talk with you about some stuff. But let me ask you this. Do you think this should be a pre-show to Flight of Passage?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I do think that it should have been built with better capacity. And I think it's when you walk into it expecting a nice, I enjoy it for what it is, but I think that the wait times don't often equate what it is.
Correct. Yeah. Speaking of, it's the same. It's 45 minutes. So pick one. If you pick this one, you're making the wrong choice.
Yes, now 45 minutes to do both. That's not too bad, you know,
Yeah.
especially if it ends up being less than the posted
Yeah.
wait time. But yeah. Well, as we come up to this beautiful site, is there anything else you wanted to check while we're still here?
No, do you have anything for me?
No, I can't think of anything. I think we've covered pretty much most of the park.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us for this live walk and talk through Disney's Animal Kingdom here on the first day of closure for Chester and Hester's Dinorama and DinoLand. We do have a full post up on laughingplace.com that details a little bit of what has closed, and we have a video walkthrough that will help show you that. So go ahead and check that out if you want to see it more in depth. We also would like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Mouse Fan Travel. So if you want to go to Animal Kingdom or Walt Disney World or any of the Disney locations, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, give them a shout. They will give you a free quote, and you'll be glad you did. And with that, as Tony comes up on this beautiful view of Pandora, thank you, Tony.
Of course.
And we'll see you next time. I don't believe we have any other shows coming up today.
No
but
park
we should.
talk.
I haven't seen it scheduled. We could have parks talk, but I'm not sure.
Talk. I'll join for Pogs talk.
Pogs talk. But tomorrow we will have Barely Necessities. We'll have the return of the morning show, and I believe Disney Trivia Live tomorrow. So all of that should be coming up. So stay tuned to Laughing Place on YouTube, X, or wherever else you might find us. And thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, Tony.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys.